I've been using work and gravity falls to ignore and cope with emotions respectively. It has caused me to keep shutting down emotions I fear facing, validating, accepting, and questioning. Subsequently, it made me unable to reach out and caused me to feel unsafe and uncommunicative.
Do you ever wonder why people ask you the question, have you eaten yet? Because it seems like it's nothing to question, but it's actually such an important question that we overlook the importance of. I've given productivity advice that tells you to make sure you eat, whether it be when dealing with situations where you feel depressed or when you feel grumpy and groggy from sleeping at 5 a.m. Hold on, don't throw me the rotten tomatoes yet. Oh, you're depressed? Just eat, ha ha ha. I know that for people dealing with mental illnesses and disabilities, the most basic things that make them feel better, like eating, showering, and exercising, are the most difficult things to do. Instead of just telling you to eat, I constantly share with you my journey of learning exactly how you can try to get yourself to eat on the worst days. And I learned something new that I'm going to share with you today. Besides the tips from my previous videos where I address how to make yourself food when you can't, I learned something that can help you eat when you feel like you have no appetite, commonly dealt with if you have depression. The story goes, my friend needed to order dinner, but he had no appetite to eat and he didn't know what to get. Again, dealing with depression, you will find it is difficult to make decisions, especially in a world with growing choices and growing pains.
And we also previously established that not eating enough will make us more irritable. We were like, why are you so irritable this week? And then eventually we realized, oh my gosh, you haven't been eating because you didn't have enough money.
And for me, I discovered yesterday that not eating makes my BPD/emotions more intense and my ability to regulate emotions worse, especially since I'm not sleeping well due to a bipolar episode that I'm struggling to cushion myself
Back when I was in therapy, my therapist would remind me of factors that can make me more emotionally vulnerable to meltdowns, and that includes eating and sleeping.
For now though, for this friend of mine, I decided to help him choose his dinner from the ordering app. While I was going through the ordering app to suggest to him foods he could order, I had a moment of realization. It's okay if you don't feel like eating, just make sure your stomach isn't empty, okay? I guess. But right, you can just buy something first and keep it if you don't want to eat. Does that make sense to your depresso brain? Put out some pressure on yourself to eat and try seeing if you have an easier time choosing. That felt like the planets aligned and the galaxy brained for me. It's not going to magically solve your problems after you put pressure off yourself. My friends still couldn't choose what to eat, and that's where community care and being kind to each other comes in. I helped go through the ordering app and gave him suggestions and reassurance that I wasn't annoyed at all if he rejected them all. And finally, I suggested something that he agreed to, and he ate dinner. He ate dinner despite not having the appetite to. And I feel like on some days you just have to let yourself be helped and continue being independent and strong and hiding your emotions after. And wow. Now I feel like the arrows are pointing to me with that last sentence as I read it out loud.
I realized I wasn't doing much healing things. What happened to listening to music? It was replaced with YouTube videos playing while I do work, I guess. But then music is truly healing for me and grounding, more than YouTube videos. I seem not to write songs anymore too and forget to schedule time with loved ones because I was busy working. That sucks. I feel like I should say screw work and prioritize self-care.
Earlier, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I have BPD, and from my experience recovering from it, the biggest change comes after you or someone else decides enough and you step your foot down to do the work with self-compassion and self-accountability at the core and center of that work. But does that mean you won't struggle? No, you will struggle. In fact, I am struggling. But you know what makes it worse? Oh, okay, hold on. I gotta get comfy. The cycle of ignoring self-care and emotional needs and prioritizing work and studies over making sure I eat and feel good about myself. Yeah, that's what makes me feel worse. And I'm tired of that cycle, doing work till late at night, then doing work first thing in the morning after waking up, doing work all the time and neglecting my physical and emotional health and affecting my relationships. Gen Z reportedly have the least positive outlook on life. Millennials, meanwhile, are struggling with student debt and struggle to feel not guilty for practicing and prioritizing self-care. Hence, the increased activism in the late 2010s that want to shamelessly prioritize self-care. Gen Zs are now also more open to talking about their feelings and more aware of things like anxiety and depression, other mental health issues. Maybe they need some work. Still, to see a recent video of Psych2Go getting 11 million views is crazy. I was there during the early days and I'm happy to see a video telling you that you're not lazy, you're burnt out, is making numbers. That makes me happy. No matter which generation you are from, people often experience stress trying to get good grades, especially because society is increasingly fast-paced, high pressure and high demand for productivity. And also, let's not forget the high expectations from family. Somehow you aren't doing enough, and if you fall off, you see how they will blame it on you without understanding and offering psychological help. So you work harder, you feel not good enough, you don't believe in yourself, especially with social media nowadays. You also just want a secure job and feel like if you don't meet the high expectations, we won't live a good life or that we are a failure. In the process, and in the worst stages of burnout, we start neglecting self-care. I don't know if I'm burnt out, but I am a workaholic. I used to study 11 hours a day, probably burned out somewhere during college. Like, forget about ADHD. Having BPD and manic depression makes it difficult to take care of myself already, and I feel like I'm working all the time but also not working enough. I tried so hard to recover from editing till late nights and not getting sleep and to improve my emotional well-being, but recently I find myself relapsing and unhealthily using work to cope with emotions and anxiety, and that's affecting me and my relationship.
Years and multiple posts that tell me to prioritize self-care and videos and everything, it cannot trump this epiphany, it cannot trump this moment of determination, this moment where I cut off a toxic relationship with work and instead decide that I want to and instead realize the meaning of prioritizing self-care.
So, what does self-care really mean? Is it a baguette? Is it a blanket? Or is it cute butterfly drawers? I just banged my head. Maybe it's laughing at your mistakes. I also propose it's making your 5 senses happy. Have nice views, smell nice fragrances, feel nice sensory experiences, eat nice, good food, listening to grounding music. You don't need to spend money on doing something that makes your 5 senses happy. But, you know, if you want to, you can, but simple things work. Maybe you think that you can't afford the 5 minutes or 1 minute of stretching and deep breathing, but you definitely can afford to do that. Just one by one, just choose your direct next step and do that. The rest will follow. I'm determined to make myself happy, cleaned and fed, and refresh before I even think about working. My relationship with work is exactly like a toxic relationship. I keep going back even though I know I shouldn't. Like, I was trying to take a break on Saturday and I couldn't stop wanting to do work. So when I feel emotions bothering me after this, knowing how unhealthily attached I am to it, I put my foot down instead and not let myself do work when I feel distressed, and instead tend to myself and sit with my ducking feelings. Came to the point of realization 2 weeks ago, I gotta sit with my feelings. And did things change? Well, it is better, but it's a bit yikes still. I just had a fresh mental breakdown a few nights ago, but overall, it is improving. And I'm tending to my emotions and relationships more. Also, the realization that I have to take care of myself was actually pretty progressive. Like, I keep realizing at different situations that get more specific over time that I'm not telling that person my needs. I'm not even thinking about my needs. I just realized most recently. So progressively, I thought, okay, I gotta sit with my feelings. And then I thought, my relationship with work is toxic, and then I decided that I gotta prioritize self-care. But without learning all those things and realizing them myself progressively, I wouldn't know how to practice that in a way that works for me. And now I think I probably reached the first mountain peak in the journey of trying to have good work-life boundaries. The final blow of the series of realizations is probably accepting that learning about my mental health is probably going to be a daily lifelong process, having to manage my emotions and working towards being Emotionally healthy is a weekly thing I have to schedule with myself for an extended period of time, like therapy, and my life needs a structure and my priorities need to shift, and it's just constant work. It's just that I gave too much priority to another type of work and it just became a toxic relationship. To have healthier boundaries with work, I'm trying out a 4-day work week, and this is why I'm rushing to record the video, because I had like changes in my plans that I have to make up for, and vegetables are waiting downstairs to be kept in the fridge. I'm also trying Notion, and I made like a notebook where I list down good decisions I made so that in the future I can see good decisions I made and hopefully be encouraged to do simple, good decisions. All in all, I have come to a point where I want to be more selfish. My mantra when I feel like doing work before I make myself cared for, especially when I need to, is screw work, screw work, screw work. And in the mornings, like screw work, I'm going to freaking, I don't know, brush my teeth first, wash my face first. That worked and helped me get my life together, especially when starting out trying to fix my relationship with work. And I think it's okay to tell ourselves screw work if we have a toxic relationship with work and studies, because we're obviously unhealthily attached to work already at an extreme. And saying screw work isn't literally saying I don't want to do work, I will stop doing the important work. It's saying instead that I'm not going to do work right now because I am more important. It sounds extreme, but drastic times, drastic measures. We are more important. Unfortunately, I can't get it in my head. Although, it needs to be occupied with more actions that I'm learning about day by day. Now I have to go store the vegetables. And that's all I have for the video. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have a awesome day. Bye!